Here's something I never thought I was gonna say. Batista is the best part of this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is Marvel's latest movie in their cinematic universe, and it takes place on the more cosmic side of the universe. And it follows a bunch of characters like Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Gamora, Drax, and there's more characters in there. But those 5 main characters have to band together to stop Ronan the Accuser, who is going to destroy the galaxy. There's a lot more to it, but I don't want to spoil anything. And going into this movie, I was super excited because I love Marvel movies to begin with. They haven't really made a bad movie yet. And I've read Guardians comics. It's just something that I really wanted to see on the big screen, and this is a risk that Marvel is taking. It's something new. It's not just like another sequel to one of their already built-in franchises. And this movie is just perfection. That's the only way I can describe it. I mean, I loved everything about this movie. And one of the big things in this movie that's great is Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. He is basically the main character of the movie, and he just does such a fantastic job in this movie. He is such a good actor. He has such great comedic timing. There's also some dramatic sequences in this movie that really have to make you feel for the character, and he did that such a great job too. He gave Star-Lord such a great personality. Like every little mannerism he had and reactions in his face, it was just perfect. And moving on from that, you also have Bradley Cooper playing Rocket Raccoon, but they don't really call him Rocket Raccoon in this movie, they just call him Rocket. Bradley Cooper does such a great job in this movie, and you barely even notice that it's Bradley Cooper during the movie. There were a few times where it was like, oh, that's him, but most of the time it's just like, this is Rocket Raccoon, and he's just such a great job in this movie. He has so many funny lines in the movie. Vin Diesel as Groot, he just kind of says, I am Groot, but Groot as a character, without even talking, he has so much personality, and he's just so fun and likable. Zoe Saldana was good as Gamora, and as I said in my intro, Batista was just fantastic as Drax. Like, in the comics, Drax was kind of just like, you know, the muscle guy and didn't have much to him. But in this movie, they gave him such a great, like, comedic personality, and he's not just, like, laugh-out-loud funny, but his character has some great funny sequences, and that really added to the movie. And Lee Pace plays Ronan the Accuser. I've heard some mixed things about him. I've heard some people say, yeah, he was great and he was a good villain, and I've also heard others compare him to Malekith from Thor the Dark World. I'm somewhere in the middle. I thought he was fine. He was just kind of there. He was a serviceable villain. He did bad things and he looked cool, but like there was nothing really there to make me care about him, and he's a lackey, so don't really care because he's not gonna win. There's a huge cast in this movie, so there are a lot of people that I'm probably leaving out trying to talk about, but everybody in the movie I thought did a good job. And in case you haven't noticed by what I've been saying so far, this movie is freaking hilarious. Like, Marvel does a lot of comedy in their movies. This movie has a lot of comedy, like for a Marvel movie even, and most of the time, like 99% of the time, the comedy hits, and it wasn't like a parody of itself or something like that. It wasn't just like, oh, ha, ha, joke, 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 joke. There was still a story to it. You cared about the characters, and that's because of James Gunn. He did such a great job directing this movie too. It looked beautiful. Like, there were so many shots in this movie I'm just thinking about that just looked so awesome. And the CGI was great on everything. Rocket and Groot looked fantastic. The action sequences, while it's not the greatest action I've ever seen in my life, it was still really enjoyable to watch. And there's some really great moments in the action, like I said, with comedy added in. But there are also, like, just moments that you'll remember after watching this movie. It's just a great time. One thing I didn't expect from this movie was me to care about the characters so much. Like, I would care about them anyway because, you know, I like comic books and everything, but they really did a great job at fleshing out the characters in this movie, and not just like Star-Lord. Everybody in the movie really gets a moment I'm remembering where they actually shine through, except for maybe Groot. Like, actually, no, never mind. Groot had one too. They give you a lot of time to care about Star-Lord, and you do because he's funny and he's likable, and there's certain things in his past that happen that make you really feel for him. And Gamora, her too, things happen to her that I don't want to spoil, but her past is really interesting. I hope they explore it more in sequels, and even Rocket too. Like, you could just view him as a comedic relief character, but you really care about him after he kind of talks talks about what happened to him. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but just you care about everybody in this movie. There was never a dull moment in this movie. It just moves along at a great pace. I never felt bored at all. I never felt like, oh, that scene didn't really need to be there. It was perfectly paced. It was really enjoyable. Guardians of the Galaxy is a movie I highly recommend you go check out this weekend. Even if you don't love superhero movies, this is a really funny and unique one. It's a different take on the genre, and you don't need to see every other Marvel movie to understand this one. It's mostly a standalone movie, and it's so funny. The acting is great. You care about the characters. The action is awesome. It's just a fantastic ride all the way through. I'm gonna give it an A+. So what do you guys think of Guardians of the Galaxy? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Did you like it more than that movie right there? Me? Oh, God. I don't know. I've been going back and forth in my head. I think they're about equal as it stands right now. Write your beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there. Because if you don't, I'll get Ronan's hammer and just, like, it'll smack me in the head and kill me.